The Mexican Grand Prix of 2025. Another Grand Prix weekend, another shit show. What did you expect? What did you expect? Now, you see, those people that were excited and were looking forward to it, I've been trying to explain to you that you're not actually watching sport, you are watching a contrivance. Now, before I get into talking about the Grand Prix, in the aftermath of Abu Dhabi 2021, the most corrupt event in the so-called sport of Formula One, I tried to get things changed. I didn't go to social media to campaign on social media because people on social media, they have their opinion, but you think they can't do anything. Okay, they're not the people that are making the decisions. So I approached in terms of trying to make contact with the people that are in positions who should be making the decisions, that have the power to change things, have the power to make things right, or have the power to expose things. That's who I attempted to contact, right? So, what happened? I got ignored. That then started making me question even more things. I've got a broadcaster, Sky Sports F1, lying to us about what is going on in this sport, and I'm contacting them saying the manner in which you're speaking about this event is wrong, and you need to be able to communicate it like this because this is the true reality of the situation. And they just went, oh, thanks for that, bye. I then went to other forms of media. I went to the BBC. I thought that in this world whereby there was a rival news source, then these media companies would only be too happy to be able to demonstrate that one of their rivals is wrong about something, is corruptly informing people, and hence here is the truth of the situation. You should trust us and not them. That is how I thought things worked. How naive was I? Because they ignored it as well. So I then had a complete scattergun approach. Throw enough shit at the wall and hope that some will stick. I contacted as many media companies as possible, not realising at that stage that they're all pretty much owned by the same group of billionaires. And they all ignored it too. Something that was clearly wrong that was then ignored. And in and around that time, I think I'd watched on Netflix this notion of the cat killer kind of documentary, whereby it was the power of social media that solved a crime. So it was at that point where it was like, okay, I've exhausted the routes that should have been routes to overturning an injustice and exposing what was going on. They will do nothing. So now I'll turn to social media. I didn't want to make videos. I wasn't comfortable with doing that in any way, shape or form. So I started on Facebook and I started writing, and I joined lots of Formula One fan groups and shared what it was that I was saying on those groups. Initially, like many people, I began in the comment section. I engaged in the comment section whereby a topic would arise and I would try to explain it, but like every comment section, your comment gets lost and the value of what you're trying to expose just gets lost in all of the hundreds of comments. So I decided it needed to be more than just a comment. I needed to be able to put it on something that everybody would have access to read. So I set up my own page. I started writing articles that are on that page, and then I joined all these other groups and started sharing those articles to those groups. Some of those groups published the articles, others blocked them. Some of the groups then blocked me from accessing that group. Such is the way. Now, the reason I'm saying this is that around that time, there's a lot of happy clappers, I call them, okay? A lot of the smooth brain, happy clappers, and they voiced the opinion, and some of these were the moderators of some of these so-called Lewis Hamilton fan groups. And I do remember one in particular was a woman that claimed that she used to work for Mercedes and therefore that she knew so much about Formula One because she used to work for Mercedes. And the attitude was, Lewis has moved on, everybody. We should all move on. Positive, 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 positivity. Yay, 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 yay. Hey, he'll win in 2022. Yay for Lewis. Hooray for it. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. When you have a corrupt regime in charge of something, do you expect them to correct themselves? Do you expect them to have the integrity to do the right thing? Well, they've already demonstrated that they don't have integrity by perpetrating a fraud in the first instance. They've never paid a consequence for that. Everything has been covered up. Everybody who has played a part in that has profited from it. They've moved on to pastures new and they're doing rather well. Take the Three Musketeers at Red Bull, for example. Jonathan Wheatley. Michael, you don't let have them cars go right around the track, and then we have a motor race on our hands. Jonathan is now the voice that they go to from the Sauber team. Jonathan's doing rather well on a multi-million-pound contract and will be the team principal when it becomes Audi, I believe. Adrian the Genius Newey. He's doing rather well out of it at Aston Martin, isn't he? Christian the Sex Pest Horner. How many millions did he get paid off? 53 million. To you've been party to sexual misconduct in the workplace, Christian. Here's 53 million pounds. Now fuck off. Yeah, that's fine. You carry on doing that. That's not a problem. What about all the stewards? Derek Warwick, Felix Holter, Gary Cutton. Oh, they're still stewarding. Still travelling around the world to each Grand Prix, making corrupt decisions. What about everybody else that was involved? All part of the cover-up. What about Martin Brundle and David Croft lying to your children about what was taking place? Oh, they're still doing that. All the corrupt regime. Who has faced a consequence? Nobody. And so what do we continue to see? Well, we continue to see the likes of what we saw today. The shit show. The absolute shit show that was the Mexican Grand Prix. Now, I'll go through it. I'll take you through the footage that we're going to have to go through these highlights video. And we're going to have to go through Karun Chandok's analysis of it. Oh, there's Max going off the track there. Let's come off that. Let's go through that. Oh, that Max off the track. Let's just go through. Oh. Can I enlarge that? Can we see that? What's going on in that thumbnail there? Let me just see if I can make that. No, I think that's about as big as I can make that. Oh, I can make it a little bit bigger. Let's just do it again. So there's Max leaving the track and gaining an unfair advantage. Nothing to see here. You know, what I'll do here is just look at some of the documents from that Grand Prix, from the corrupt regime, which is the governing body of the sport. You know, that governing body of the sport, which had a race director that broke the rules of the sport to set up a last lap shootout to gift Max Verstappen his first championship. That governing body that employed 4 people to steward that event, who made a corrupt decision, and then they're trying to say, they make their decisions independent of us. No, it's all about accountability. You know, the British justice system will try and do that. We're His Majesty's courts and tribunals service. You know, the service for justice. But the judges, they're independent. They make their decisions. Well, who's holding who to account then? Oh, it's not our fault. Oh, it's not their fault. Oh, you can't hold judges to. Why not? What if you've got a corrupt one? Ooh, don't you worry your little head. You see, I did use that as see this kind of banner at the top. I did use that as the original banner for that page because I thought it represented justice. It doesn't, okay, but that's for a different channel. It represents the true level of corruption that these facades actually are. But now we'll go back to the FIA page. We'll go back to this one. You've got the FIA, an entirely corrupt organisation that profit from the revenue generated by the show of Formula One, and therefore are making corrupt decisions in a sport which are going to create drama. Okay, that is not a governing body of a sport that is fit for purpose, and that's a fact. Okay, if you've got FIFA, for example, the governing body for football, and you had inconsistency to the level you get in Formula One, and they are blatantly making decisions by employing referees, who they then say, oh, the referees who we choose to referee, for example, the World Cup final that are going to take place in America. Fuck yeah, the Empire, the head of the Empire. That's where the next World Cup's going to take place. Everybody, bit of Mexico, bit of Canada, but mainly in Trump's America. The officials for that tournament will be appointed by FIFA, the governing body of the sport. But if FIFA say, oh, the decisions that those referees make are nothing to do with us, well, they are supposed to be applying your rules. You've appointed them. You have determined them competent enough and of the level required to officiate in what should be the pinnacle of your competition. You are responsible for them. Okay? They've got a responsibility to conduct themselves with integrity and apply the decisions in accordance with the rules and regulations of football. And if they're doing something that is blatantly incorrect, then there should be a consequence for them. And if there is a pattern to that, where it can be identified that there is clearly some corruption taking place, then there should be a consequence not only against the referees, but also against the governing body. But the FIA, no, we've got our own courts. Nobody can hold us accountable for what we do. No, you can be held accountable for what you do because you're defrauding everybody. You claim that you are a governing body of a sport. You claim that you are the world governing body for motorsport. You oversee the Formula One World Championship. The decisions made in the stewarding of that championship are entirely inconsistent, and there is a pattern to that. That demonstrates there is corruption. There is a clear problem. And what's being done? Nothing. What does it do, though, to the show? Well, Abu Dhabi, that championship built to a crescendo, didn't it? Built to a crescendo all season. They enabled a driver to drive in a manner that was against the rules and regulations of the sport, forcing other drivers off the track without getting penalised for it, committing infringements, not getting penalties. We call that let them race, said Jonathan Wheatley, who's now profiting by being the head of the Steak Kick Sauber team. Jonathan, did you not read the FIA International Sporting Code and promise to adhere to that as part of being affiliated team principal, competing in the sport of Formula One? Yeah, where did it say let them race in that, Jonathan? No, you're adhering to all the rules and regulations, not you determining for yourself how you wish to interpret that and how you wish to direct this notion of we'll say anything goes, Anybody can just fuck their car at anybody else, and we'll just call that let them race. Let them race. No, that's not how it works. But you enabled that, didn't you, FIA? Why did you enable that? Oh, it excites the kiddies. Formula One has this strategy of wanting to attract a newer audience, a younger audience who's going to engage on social media, and then they can have lots of memes about Formula One, everybody, and that'll be funny, and they'll all tell us what they think in the comments section, and they'll all vote for who they think is driver of the day, and they'll vote for who they want to elect as their best overtake, and they'll interact, and that will get engagement, and that will generate revenue. That will encourage people to want to be part of Formula One, invest in the sport, because then they get eyes on their brand. Value. Oh, that attracts people to the show. That makes the show more money. Making the product exciting is going to attract more kiddies, isn't it? More lifelong fans of the spectacle. Yes, that's what you're seeking to do. That was your strategy, Formula One. And so you went about trying to spice up the action by not applying the rules, by allowing certain people to do certain things, causing controversy, creating division, causing conflict. Because when people see things that are injustices, people get frustrated by that. There will be those who support the beneficiary, and they will be there sneering, and they will be there goading the others, going, ha ha, ha ha, my favourite got away. Look at the rest of you moaning, ha ha, because that's the kind of wank rags that they are. But most decent people will say, that's not acceptable. Why are you enabling that? Once you enable things like that to happen, what you will actually cause is a descent into wrongdoing. When people see that the rules and regulations are not enforced, then that results in people having to fight for themselves. If they cannot rely on the justice system of the sport intervening to apply the appropriate penalties, then people will say, well, if the other guy's not going to get penalised for this, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to just sort of like drive in the same way? Am I going to have to crash him out of the race? Because otherwise, you're going to carry on doing it to me. And if you've got a system where there is no consequence and somebody is just willing to continue perpetrating because there's no consequence for them, yeah, if these people are CNUTs, they'll continue to perpetrate. And yes, one CNUT does continue to perpetrate, as we have continually seen. So, it's the same regime. It's the same corrupt people. They do it because it makes them money. What are they doing? They're causing division. They're causing conflict. They're fueling hate. That is what the governing body is doing. The contracted broadcaster is doing exactly the same thing. They are validating one guy. They're presenting one guy as being this amazing thing, and many of us know that it's not. They're boosting somebody as if they're head and shoulders above everybody else in their ability and their accomplishments. And yet, those of us that can actually see it for what it really is, know that that's not the truth of the situation. And what does it cause? It causes people to become frustrated. It encourages this notion of partisan crowds, those who are become entrenched in being staunchly behind their favourite competitor and therefore conflicting with those who are staunchly in favour of their favourite. They create tribalism. They create conflict. And while people are fighting each other, nobody looks up. Nobody looks at the criminals at the top who are pulling the strings of everything, profiting from it, and just treating everybody like shit. They've got a global audience of approximately, they claim, a global following of Formula One of 500 million people. 500 million is what they claim follow the show of Sport Formula One. Now, that might be an inflated figure. That might be the figure that they tell prospective sponsors. Invest in Formula One. Associate your brand with the show of Formula One, because 500 million people worldwide will be tuning in and have eyes on your brand. And that is a market for you to potentially sell your goods to 500 million people. Yeah, all of them that can afford a Ferrari. Yes, all of us can. And maybe it's an inflated figure. But that is what they tell us is a global following. And how do they treat us? Well, they treat us like shit. And they treat us like shit because they serve up what they've just served us. We've got a sport where they don't apply the rules and regulations. A free-for-all. Oh, it's lap one. Anything can happen on lap one. You can do what you want on lap one and you won't get a penalty. You know, it's just the same in football. I mean, if you punch somebody in the face in football, you'd get a red card. You get sent off. But if you do it in the first minute, it's fine. Anything goes. It's the first minute. Not a problem, everybody. Just punch him in the face and knock him out. It'll be overlooked because they'll just call it a first minute incident. No, they won't. They'll just apply the rules of the sport and send you off. Just like every other sport. You break the rules. It doesn't matter whether it's at the start of the sport or at the end of the sport. You break the rules, you receive a penalty for that. An appropriate penalty relative to the infringement. But not Formula One. And will the stewards look at this and will they decide whether they're going to apply a penalty or not? You show me a sport where something clearly takes place and then it goes to a reviewing panel and that reviewing panel decide whether they're going to apply a penalty or not. That's been referred to the stewards. The stewards have said no further action. We can all see. Well, I say we can all see. We get glimpses of what took place. And then whether we actually see what took place depends very much on whether they want us to see what took place. Because the show of Formula One has its own recording facility. They're the people that show the world what it is that's taking place. Or they show us the version of what they want us to see taking place when they want us to see it. Like at the end of the race when there was a virtual safety car. I didn't see what was going on there. We got a virtual safety car. I heard, was it Carlos Sainz? We've got a Williams pulled over on the side of the track. So what does that make you think? Well, normally when there's a car pulled over on the side of the track, safety car, we've got a lap and a half to go. What does that mean? We're going to get a last lap shoot. No, we're not going to get a last lap shootout, kids. Okay, it doesn't work like that. Because on average, 5.5 laps of motor racing are lost when a safety car is deployed and there are lapped cars in the running order. That's the way it works, kids. They don't tell you that. They'll get you excited and, are we going to see that grandstand finish? No, we've got a car that's supposedly, as we're told, on the side of the track. To move that car, do we need a crane? What are you going to do to make it safe? You don't want a Formula One car going off the track and smashing into a crane, do you? We learnt the lesson from what happened with Jules Bianchi. Did we not learn that lesson? It's called health and safety. There's rules that have been developed over the years and they're done for a reason. Nobody knows the rules anymore. Yes, let's argue that in a court of law, everybody, where one bought team will put forward the argument of people that want to argue it this way, and another bought team will put forward the argument, because we've all forgotten the difference between right and wrong in the context of a given situation, and therefore nobody knows, and it's going to take 3 years of arguments and millions of pounds spent to determine the difference between right and wrong, and then a judge will have to assess the validity of each of the arguments put forward by each of the expensive teams. And yes, well, yes, the £30 million that you spent for your team, that was worth it because this that they put forward has got value, and the £30 million that you spent on your team, that was worth it because the arguments that they put forward also have value and need consideration with regard to the law. But the verdict is this. Because it takes that to work out the difference between right and wrong, apparently. That's justice, everybody, but don't you worry your little heads about that. Don't you worry, little heads. It's a game to enrich the lawyers, and it's just a facade, and it's not about justice. It's missold. It's under the notion of justice, but it's not. It's not. It's about extraction. Anyway, and compromise. But don't worry about that. Let's get back to this Mexican Grand Prix. Okay, let's just get back into this, because what we need to look at, right, is we'll go back to the start of the race here and look at what was going on. We've got the final starting grid, right, and then we've got document 33, car 55, pit lane speeding, which was is this Carlos Sainz speeding in the pit lane, and then he did it again. So whether his pit lane limiter thing wasn't working, there was complaint in the race, wasn't there, of him saying his car was jumping as he was coming down the pit lane, which would indicate there's probably a fault with that system on his car, causing him to not slow down to the required speed and it not hold that required speed, which should be an automatic function, and therefore he's infringed, and it's done it twice, and therefore he's got 2 penalties. And then we've got the provisional race classification, and then we've got infringements and decisions. And these involve car 44, car 44, and car 44. Can you think of any other infringements in that race? Can you think of any other infringements in that race? Such as lap 1, turn 1, Max Verstappen leaving the track, being out of control, not being able to stay on the track. Was that an infringement? And rejoining, did he rejoin in a safe manner? Did he gain an advantage? Did he maintain his position even though he'd left the track, cut a corner and maintain position? Was that gaining an advantage? Because had he have tried to remain on the track, on the line he'd have had to decelerate so much that other cars that were on a better line would have easily overtaken him. Oh no, just cut the corner and keep your position. He actually gained a lasting advantage because he was still fighting Lewis Hamilton. What about Charles Leclerc, that was in the process of being overtaken at turn 1 and just went, oh no, fuck it, I'll just cut across here and maintain my position, leaving the track, keeping his position, maintaining a lasting advantage, because had he have tried to remain on the track as he is required to do, he'd have had to decelerate to keep control of his car, to keep on track, and would have lost position. No, he just fucked off. What about Max Verstappen crowding Lewis Hamilton off the track? Went a late lunge into a corner. Yeah, a late lunge, and you've got to leave the competitor that you're trying to overtake a car's width on exit. Oh, Max didn't. Left him no room on exit. Lewis Hamilton could not have had any part of his car in contact with the track and not been in contact with Max Verstappen. That's crowding another car off the track, a 10-second penalty. Is there any mention of that? No. Max Verstappen cut the corner, maintained a position by cutting a corner. That's gaining an advantage. Had you have been able to stay on the track, you'd have needed to carry a slower speed of your car. Oh, you didn't slow down, you carried so much extra speed, went off the track, and as a result of that, maintained your position. Maintaining a lasting advantage. Is there any stewarding decision regarding that? No, there's not, is there? The incident where Lewis Hamilton locked up, took to the escape road, and it resulted in Behrman ultimately jumping Russell and Verstappen. We'll do an analysis of that and a slow-mo of what was going on with Max there. Left the track again because he carried so much extra speed into that chicane. He went off the track again. Did he rejoin in a safe manner? How was George Russell impacted by Max rejoining in the way he did? And how did that then drop George Russell down, losing a position to Behrman because he had to avoid Max Verstappen? Oh yeah, nothing to see here. You see, I previously lost my thread because I was talking about the deployment of the virtual safety car, that we didn't get to see whatever this Williams was taking place. And because normally it would be a safety car. If there's a car broken down on the side of the track, it's normally a safety car. Okay, because you can't send marshals out to recover that car whilst cars are it's still a live track. Okay, and you don't want a car losing control, careering into that whilst marshals are there trying to remove it. If you've got a crane there, you don't want a car losing control, careering into the crane. That crane is not going to absorb the energy in the same way a crash barrier would. Somebody could die. Hence, we've got these safety protocols. Did we see what was going on? Did they show us what was going on? No, they didn't. I didn't see it. We got a half-assed attempt at they've got double wave yellow flags out. Okay, show us what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? I don't understand what's going on because that car's now behind the barriers. Well, why didn't you show us what was going on? Oh, it's a mystery. This is the show of Formula One. We're not going to show you what's going on. And what we're going to constantly do is go, oh, is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? Are the stewards going to do this? Are the stewards going to do that? What's going to happen now? Anything can happen. It's only life. You see, show me a sport where it does that. You see, every sport that you can watch, those people that engage in the sport, that watch the sport, you learn about the sport and you know what to expect. You are shown what is taking place. You know the rules of the sport. You see something happen, you know the implications of that happening. That player has just done that. That's an infringement. That's going to result in that. You know it. And more often than not, that's exactly then what unfolds. The referee has also seen that infringement. They blow their whistle. They award the appropriate sanction. And more often than not, that is what takes place. In Formula One, you may get to see what may have happened, and then you get, are they going to refer that to the stewards? What are the stewards going to decide? Oh, the stewards are looking at that one, and they've decided nothing. Oh, the stewards are looking at that one, they've decided a 10-second penalty, a 5-second penalty, a 20-second penalty. Nobody knows. It's all up for grabs, isn't it? Nobody knows. It's only live once. And all of the commentators of the sport, well, they can't tell you either. They can't say, well, that's clearly a problem. That's clearly an infringement. And that should result in a 10-second penalty. That should result in a 20-second penalty. No, they can't. Oh, what have we just seen here? Is that a problem or not? Oh, I don't know. What do you think? Well, it could be this or it could be that. Nobody knows in Formula One. What do the stewards think? Oh, nobody can give an opinion because Nobody, well, there's no consistency in the stewarding decisions, is there? So you can't claim that you're going to say what they're going to be, because what if they're not that? Because they're lying again, they're inconsistent again. Well, that's called corruption. And that's what we're seeing. But Hamilton gets a 10-second time penalty. And we'll do this in greater detail. They determined that here we go, that Hamilton did not follow the race director's instruction. We'll come to that one in a future video. This one here, alleged causing a collision with car 1 at turn 1. Lewis Hamilton was cited for when Max Verstappen put in the dive bomb on him and drove him off the track. And they cited Lewis Hamilton as being the person who was infringing for that. That is a fucking opposite of the truth. But I'll do a video of that. Now, I'm mindful that, I'm going on a bit in this video. We'll have to take you through the footage and we'll just do the proper analysis. The entire thing is a facade. The entire thing is a shit show, a contrivance. And, it's like I say, it's created conflict. How can they get away with it? Well, the reason they can get away with it is because there's a large portion of the population who are smooth brains, okay? They are just excited by it. You've got weekend attendance at many of these Grand Prix have reported 400,000 people. 400,000 people have attended a Grand Prix weekend and they're all there in their merchandise, in their favourite colours of their favourite team, waving their flags. Yay! The cameras are on us. Yay! We're on the telly, everybody. We've all paid 200 quid for a ticket to come and watch the shit show. And they don't realise that they're just being fucked over by a bullshit show. But they're all having a lovely time. They're all having a lovely time. And the thing is, they don't realise that this is a shit show. They don't realise that they're being abused by a fucking show that's abusing them. Taking their money from them and not giving them sport. Giving them a contrivance. And that's reflective of the world we live in. Many things are controlled. And people don't realise that we're all being fed a narrative of those who want to have things their way for their benefit. And what they'll do, they'll project things as, they're the problem in this world. The reason why life is a struggle for you all is them people over there are your problem. See, if it wasn't for them doing their thing that's impacting you negatively, everything would be fine, wouldn't it? But they're your problem. That's what they get you to do. They get you to conflict. They present somebody as being the enemy, the problem, the threat to Western democracy, the threat to the evil empire. Because they won't capitulate to the will of the evil empire who wants to just dominate and rape the resources of the world for its own benefit. And if you don't capitulate to that, you become a threat to Western democracy, everybody. And the mind conditioning media machine is their tool to condition the minds of the smooth brains to just keep waving your flags and keep happy clapping. Yay! Positivity! Yay! Lewis has moved on, everybody, and we should move on as well. And just keep, yay! Cheering for our favourites, and it'll all be fine. No, it just won't. It won't. Until you hold the perpetrators to account, this sport will never be cleaned up. It will continue to perpetrate, it will continue to be corrupt, and what you will continue to watch will be a fraudulent shit show, an entire contrivance. So, it is what it is. I will make the videos because that's what I know. That's what many of you are seeing now. Many of you saw it before as well. But very few people say it. Many people will put themselves in this space, and they'll do so because it's lucrative for them. Yay, I'll say the things that the algorithm likes people to hear. And that way I'll get lots of clicks and lots of views, and I'll earn money through advertising revenue, and I'll become a successful YouTuber with a big following. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to expose things or talk about things how they truly are. And the intention is ultimately to try and affect change, but to do so, you are reliant upon a justice system and the application of law. And I'm finding that the justice system is entirely corrupt, a corrupt facade. So the ability to actually do that is going to be compromised. But that's what everything is. It's all a compromise, isn't it? We'll pretend that nothing's happened. We'll pretend that it's all a mistake. It's all up for debate. Oh, no, it's a fraud. There's clear rules broken. Clear rules broken. Clear wrongdoing. Clear evidence of contrivance, which constitutes criminality. And they'll just try and present it as being something else. Just a mistake by somebody under pressure. You know the feeling, everybody. We're only human after all. It's fine, move on already. Them stewards that ruled on the decisions of the Mexican, they're only human, everybody. Nobody should boo everybody. Don't boo the stewards, everybody. I don't agree with booing. Let's just clap for your favourite, everybody. Don't boo. Clap for your favourite and move on already with positivity. Or you can say, well, no. In order to have something in this world that is right, that needs to be a certain way. We need to have values. We need to identify the difference between right and wrong, and there needs to be a consequence for those who seek to step outside of that. For any functioning society, there has to be, respect, set of parameters that people realise that we can all impact each other in a negative manner, and we shouldn't do that. We should be respectful to each and every one of us. And if you behave in a manner that we identify things as being behaviours that's unacceptable for a functioning society, then there needs to be a consequence for that. Now, I know that I'm going to get Johnny Wankrag in the comment section going, oh, you're abusing us, calling us Johnny Wankrag. Yeah, and that's because that is the consequence for you in my channel. You are displaying behaviour, conduct that's not acceptable. You come here to troll, you come here to undermine, you come here to discredit, you come here to incite. That is who you are. That is the sadistic little bastards that you are. Now, some of you are humans, some of you likely to be bots, employed by the system to affect people's perspectives of a situation. Some of you just do it because your favourite is the one that is the beneficiary of the corruption. You are what you are. You are what you are. If there comes a point in your life where you are the victim of an injustice, then maybe that'll be the point in time where you start realising exactly what it is that I actually try and stand for. The values that should impact each and every one of us for a fair, functioning existence for each and every one of us. Anyway, that'll do on this one. Thank you all for your time.